Can you tell us about your experience at the Synod so far, particularly what you hope to see would come out of the Synod on the new evangelization?
I thought the Synod has really given us a perspective of the whole universal church on the difficulties about evangelization and the challenges really to spread the gospel. There has been, because of different circumstances, there has been sort of a lessening of enthusiasm in the living of the gospel. There's been a lessening of enthusiasm in the spreading of the gospel, lessening of enthusiasm also in understanding the gospel very much. Now, this is to be combated. Perhaps the first thing is the realization of the problem, accepting the problem, and then seeing what are the ways in which we can combat this. What was very, very useful in the Synod is notification, and we've understood that the whole church has got different problems, but there is an effect of globalization all over, and secularization, individualism, relativism is crept in all over, affecting really the pastoral work. Now we've got to work on that, conscious of the problem and seeing how it's got to be done in our own particular circumstances, which vary from place to place, make a difference. That's the problem.
The Synod has been in session now for 2 weeks. We're going into the third week. Small groups have been meeting to discuss and present propositions to move forward. So are you seeing any practical solutions coming out at this particular time? I mean, after assessing the problem, are there some initiatives that you've seen that are coming out?
Let me say, perhaps my disappointment, but this perhaps is something, there's nothing very, very new which has come out. Certainly there's an enthusiasm, a greater consciousness of universality, as I said, but also a great enthusiasm to work for this. We realize that we've got to work for this, and everybody wants to be part of this whole project. That's great. Now we want to see how we've got to carry everybody with us. We're conscious of the fact that we've got to get our priests, religious, laity, the family, new movements, associations, youth, everybody together with us. If we can make this enthusiasm infectious and others also are excited about it, I think then we would be able to really make a change, because the gospel is the same. We've got to live the gospel and work for the gospel. That's essential. But now we've got to feel that this has got to be done with greater enthusiasm, vigor, confidence, understanding, generosity and commitment perhaps.
One final question. Can you just share with us a little bit about your experience of the church in India, specifically in your diocese in Bombay, and just share a little bit about, for us who are primarily North American, part of the North American church, which is a very different cultural experience and social experience.
I would say that but Bombay being a big city, mega city, it's affected by globalization, affected by the media affects everybody. So there is certainly materialism, it's become a consumerist society, the economy is climbing, so people are concerned about material things. There's a little lessening of a focus on the spiritual. But the Indian mentality is basically spiritual. What I mean is that the Hindus, the Muslims who are there, the Christians, those of all religions, basically God is part of the thinking of man over there. And now we've got to focus on that and get it back. God is getting a little bit to the periphery of society. Got to bring him back in the center. And the most important element we've got to make him in our decisions, in our moral decisions, in our life decisions. Now in Bombay, I'm happy in the sense that now our churches are still full. I get about 85% of the people coming for Sunday Mass. The youth are still interested in really the gospel, interested in working for the gospel, for the church. There's hope. Fortunately, there's no unemployment, so there is not the pessimism we see in other parts of the world. And therefore, they want to work also to change society. Now, I think that for us in Bombay, what's important for us in evangelization is dialogue, strengthening our interreligious dialogue, because for us dialogue is the means of evangelization. I think for us again, working with the social doctrine of the church, that's important for us because that will have a great impact on society. I think again, showing that the gospel is an answer to many of the modern day problems, to all of the modern day problems I would say. Now that for us is a challenge. This, because don't forget that I'm speaking from a society where we are in Bombay about 4 to 5% in the whole city. We're about 19 million people, and we're just 500,000 people. So you can see we are in a different perspective. And therefore we've got to present the gospel, which is not rejected, but really as an answer. And there were Jesus as a person who really has the answer to the problems of the world.
Thank you very much for sharing some thoughts.